So
Just
there's this long 3,000-year history of these people being denied the promised land of their God. And then this other group comes along and says, maybe we can do something with that. That seems like no one's done anything with that project yet. So I want to bring you over here because a lot of people claim ethnic cleansing of Jews from Iraq. And that's not necessarily the whole truth. They were inspired by terrorism to move in many cases. And if we go to Albert Abdullah David Sassoon, sorry, Albert Abdullah David Sassoon is the son of David Sassoon, and he is an opium warlord monopoly guy. This guy's in charge of Baghdad, Iraq. He's in charge of the opium
it,
trade. He works with the East India Company.
doesn't the Sassoon family correspond or connect with, is it not Rudyard Kipling? It's
It- they- they-
The Flemings or
well,
something like that.
you're close, Tony, because they do.
Jardine Fleming,
Yes. So,
Matheson,
so here
something like
comes
that.
the
Sorry.
Sassoon. So
Yep.
David Sassoon is part of the Sassoon family. Now, you can go to the Jewish Encyclopedia and read all about this because that's where I learned about all this history of the Sassoon family. They have a wonderful archive of history on this character, David Sassoon. So you go to David Sassoon, 1792 to 1864, and then he has a son. And then at one point, I think it's this one. Let's go back. This he David Sassoon, Opium. All right, so there's
There it is.
Jardine
Yeah.
Matheson. Here's the connections off to the side, right? So David Sassoon, his I think it's his son or grandson, marries into the Rothschild family, like in the 1860s, right? So now
Yeah.
you have a connection between the East India Company's opium monopoly and the Rothschild family post Waterloo in a way that involves marriage. Now, how does this trickle down today, right? You could read about the Anglo-Jewish Association and the Jewish Encyclopedia and Evelyn de Rothschild and her work in Jerusalem, 1854. But wait, there's more because the Hollywood connection is a real thing. And if you go down to here and you go over here, Jack Houston is the grandson of John Houston and Albert Abdullah David Sassoon. So on one side, he has John Houston, the director. On the other side, he has Meyer Amschel Rothschild and Albert Abdullah Sassoon in his family tree. This is well known, and you can read about it on his wiki page, and it'll tell you all about it. It's just not going to tell you like
Holy
what it
shit,
all.
bro. I just went to the Jewish Encyclopedia. It says the Rothschilds of the East.
Yes,
And
that's
it's
what the
literally it.
Sassoons were.
This is
Yeah.
on the Jewish Encyclopedia. It says here, Sir Albert Abdallah David Sassoon, Anglo-Indian merchant, head of the House of David Sassoon and Company, quote, the Rothschilds of the East, end quote, born at Baghdad, 1817, died in Brighton, England, October 24th, 1896, eldest son of David Sassoon. Wow. That's
And
fucking,
then you go to David Sassoon's entry. And so when they're called the Rothschilds of Baghdad, and then they later marry with the Rothschilds, they're like, we might as well just marry with them. And now you've got a banking conglomerate and an opium conglomerate from the British East India Company's supply line,
yo,
all
dude,
working
look at
together
this.
before
This
Cecil
whole
Rhodes even comes along. What do you got?
Holy shit. It says business career. This is just on the wiki, which has whitewashed most of that information you just presented, which is
Yeah,
actually corroborated in the Jewish
that's
Encyclopedia,
my sources.
which
I
is
didn't
so
make this
ironic.
stuff
They're
up. I
whitewashing
read
the wiki,
books.
right? But the Jewish Encyclopedia is keeping it alive. It's great. So here it says business career. It says here he proceeded to Shanghai, where he conducted the mercantile operations of the Chinese branch of the firm of David Sassoon, which would be his father, Sons and Co. He went to London in 1858, where he opened a bank on Leadenhall Street. The business grew exponentially during the American Civil War as
Hmm.
they suddenly became the main suppliers of cotton to British
Yeah.
spinning mills
It's part of the
and
triangle
the
trade,
British
and
market.
opium's on the other end of those
And
textiles.
right. Wow. That's so. And then here it says philanthropy. Look at this. He served as president of a committee which had for its object the organization of an expedition to the Jews in China, Abyssinia, and the East. He was also a member of the Council of Jews College and the Committee of the Jews Free School, which two institutions he munificently endowed. He was also a warden of the Spanish and Portuguese synagogue. For several years, he acted as examiner in Hebrew to the Jews Free School. So I'd have to look up what that is, but
All
that's
right, so
that.
you were on David Sassoon, the
Hmm.
treasurer of Baghdad, the Baghdadi.
Sassoon David Sassoon. That's Sassoon
Well,
David Sassoon.
this is
Anyways,
this is
this
the one
was a
I was just
British Indian
talking
merchant.
about, 1792 to 1864, and then his
Oh, that
son
was the older one,
Albert
yeah.
Albert becomes the diplomat and philanthropist, and I think it's his son that marries in with the next generation of Rothschild
Yeah,
family.
yeah. You're looking at his father, at least according to this. At least what's the wiki saying that what you have there is his father.
Yeah.
But they think they screwed up the name.
Well, this is the 1818 to 1896. So this is the second generation because
Oh,
he's
maybe
all
it's
in
just the
English
same one.
dress, and the older one is in the Baghdad uniform. This
No, it's
is
the same one. That's my bad. You're right. Right
yeah,
there he is. Yeah, there he is. He looks the same.
yeah.
David Sassoon and Sons. Yeah, Sassoon David Sassoon is on the right there.
So
And then there's
that's
the
also
patriarch.
inconvenient to the official narratives, especially once you get down to, let me just control F on this page. Yeah, there's many
And
generations.
I
And
wanted to
again,
follow
this is
up.
why I put it into a model to disambiguate the various generations and the business partners. And when you get into their business partners and the old China trade, that's what they called the opium trade.
The open
I mean, a
trade, yeah.
lot of this stuff is still going on today, and it
It, sh-
involves slave trades. I'm sorry,
it
I'm going
should
on the wrong one.
it should be
See, there's
noted.
old China trade, and there's
Yeah,
the
well,
slave trades that it was based on, and how they continue it today. And Sassoon family is a part of that history in a strong way. Here's
wonder if they
De
have any
Beers.
connection with the
Yeah.
HSBC, maybe like the foundation of
Yes.
that. Yeah.
The Hong Kong
Yeah,
Shanghai
there it is.
Banking
HSBC
Corporation
Hong Kong
right
Shanghai.
here.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
Clearinghouse, who funded
very.
Hillary Clinton
Mm-hmm.
like $60 million for her campaign in 2016. So this all this stuff's still going on today. I've interviewed a HSBC whistleblower who tell you what happened in the last couple of years. It's like it's crazy
Yeah.
what they're doing over there.
It's like basically a more refined and version of BCCI. Look at it like
Yes.
that.
Or a
It's, I
less
want to
refined
follow up with
version.
the aliyahs because one of the
Yeah.
confusions people have is like there's been a bunch of aliyahs or migrations of Jewish people
Oh, I mapped
from
them out.
North Africa and what's that?
I mapped them. They're in the
Oh yeah, okay,
here's the
yeah.
first
So
Aliyah right here. Oh, wait, wrong button. The first Aliyah is in the 1800s, and then there's a second Aliyah. Where did I have it? I have it listed someplace around here.
the first, yeah,
Uh,
third, first, second, and third. Then the Zionist historiography post the Balfour Declaration, the start of the third Aliyah. The first and second Aliyah originally referred to the two biblical returns to Zion described in Ezra, Nehemiah. The first Aliyah led by Zerubbabel, and the second Aliyah led by Ezra and Nehemiah, approximately 80 years later. But that's based on dubious biblical historiography. It does go on
well,
to. Mhm.
they also had this Palestine Exploration Fund, which helped to set it up. And the whole time, the Survey of Western Palestine, like they call it Palestine the whole time.
So it
So I don't know.
says here it's this is just on the wiki. It says for much of their history, most Jews have lived in the diaspora outside the land of Israel due to various historical conflicts that led to their persecution alongside multiple instances of expulsions and exoduses. In the late 19th century, 99.7% of the world's Jews lived outside the region, with Jews representing 2 to 5% of the population of the Palestine region. Think about that. That's all in the 1800s, before this colonization project began. They 99.7% of the world's Jews lived outside that region, and only 2 to 5% lived inside the region, of
That's
which
right.
are of Semitic origin. Those are not Ashkenazi. Those are Semitic origin, people from the Middle East or North Africa. That's what we mean by
Right.
Semitic populations. So it says here, continuing, it says, despite its historical value as a nation, as a national aspiration for the Jewish people, the Aliyah was acted upon by few prior to the rise of a national awakening among Jews worldwide and the subsequent development of the Zionist movement in the late 19th century. The large-scale immigration of Jews to Palestine had consequently begun in 1882, which obviously we presented
Edmund de
more than enough.
Rothschild. Yeah.
Exactly. Since the Israeli Declaration of Independence in 1948, more than 3 million Jews have made Aliyah. Now, granted,
What's
you
that
know,
picture? That boat. Is that during the Havara agreement?
the Palmach immigration to Israel. This work or image is now. Oh, sorry. This is the Palmach archive via the
I was looking
Piki.
to see what year that was.
This is the Israel. Oops, not that. Where'd it go? Too many things up. Uh, there. Bad connection.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Picky Wiki Israel Free Image Collection Project. So, but it's it says the Palmach immigration. Somebody just
Well, it doesn't look like an 1800s boat. That's my point. And
uh
during the Havara Agreement, there's a lot of pictures of Eastern European
here's the
migrants on those boats
wait,
that
what is
have
this? It says the Palmach
various
was the
symbols.
elite fighting force of the Haganah, the underground
Huh.
army of the Yishuv, Jewish community during the period of the British mandate for Palestine. You're right. That would have
It's a
been
good
20th
thing you
century. That
looked that
picture of the
up.
20th century. The Palmach was established in May 1941 by the outbreak of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. It consisted of over 2,000 men and women in 3 fighting brigades and auxiliary aerial, naval, and intelligence units. Now, I don't know if that is a that picture perfectly represents. It says here the Palmach, immigration to Israel, and it has like a liner that would look like it's from the 20th century, I would presume.
Yeah.